welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Rye and this is Rye's Reading Corner. Today I am bringing you the second installment of my June book haul because I bought that many books this month that I had to split it into two. So let's get going. As I said, I had to break this video down into two because I had a problem this month and bought a lot of books because there's just so many books that I want to read and there were a lot of great releases this month. So I will post below the first video I did for this month. This video will kind of pick up where I left off and show you all the books I have bought and since then. Some of these books I have read, some of them I have not, but I'm going to try not to go into too much detail about each of those books that I've read because I want to save that for when I do my recap for the end of the month. So let's get started. So my first book was such an amazing book, Felix Ever After by Kaysen Callender. So this is my first book ever by this author, and I love it. So this is about a boy named Felix who is a trans black male. He is struggling to figure out where he fits into society and where he belongs and how he identifies. And as you read this, you take the journey with Felix as he tries to come to some kind of senses on who he is as while he's trying to fall in love for the first time. This was a great read. Definitely pick this up. I'm glad that I did. Second book that I bought this month was another 5-star read that I have read is You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. This is her debut novel, which you would never know reading this. She is so talented. This is a girl about Liz, and she lives with her grandparents in a white, affluent neighborhood. She is black, one of the only black students in her school, and they do not have a lot of money. She was banking on a scholarship to get herself into a college that she wanted to go into, but unfortunately she doesn't get it. So she has to find an alternate route to get that money so that her grandparents don't have to sell their house. So she enters the prom, which is a really big deal for this town, and that prom, if you win, you get a huge scholarship that would cover the cost for the college. She also does fall in love with one of her competitors. Her name is Amanda, or she goes by Mac. There's also a beautiful love story in this as well. So I absolutely loved this book. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I could literally talk forever about this book. But I did pick up this book this month, and I'm super happy that I did. All right, the next book was The Black Flamingo. So when I saw the cover of this book, I knew I had to get it. I had seen the inside copy of this book as well. It is literally pink with all these beautiful flamingos drawn on it. This book is completely told in verse, and we are talking about a character named Michael. Michael is biracial. His father's from Jamaica. His mother's from Greece, I believe. And it's his path and journey from when he's a child till he's in college, trying to find who he is and where he fits in, because he doesn't feel like he fits in either type of community because he's told he's not black enough and he's not, Greek enough. He doesn't speak Greek, and he just doesn't feel like he fits in. And then finally he finds a community of drag queens, and he finally finds a place where he belongs. But it's a lot more complicated than that. This is a heartbreaking story. It's a great story. I read it in just a couple of hours. It is a chunker, but it is a quick-paced read. So if you've not picked up Black Flamingo, I highly suggest to pick this up. All right, next book I have not read. It is called The Line Between by Tosca Lee. I have been asked to do a review for this book, so I will be getting into it probably next month. It sounds like it's a science fiction-y type book that talks about with a doomsday cult, and there's some type of thing going on where like everyone gets dementia. I don't know, but it sounds pretty cool. The cover is not that bad, but yeah, so I'm excited to read this one. The next book that I snagged this in the month is something that I am currently reading. It's If I Never Met You. It is a romance. I am reading it for the Romanceathon, this is the group read. It is about a girl who has just broken up with her boyfriend from over 18 years, and she doesn't know what to do with herself anymore. There's also a boy who's named Jamie, who's kind of known as like the big flirt. All the girls love him. And obviously, I believe it has fake dating turned into romance. So romance is not something that I've generally have liked, but I've been pushing myself through this Romanceathon to kind of widen my horizon into the type of books I read. And so yeah, so this one is If I've Never Met You. The next book I hauled was something that people have been telling me I have to read, and it's called Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha. Her name is covered by the sticker. So sorry about that. So this book is, I've heard so many things about it. I know there's a lot of things that are trigger warnings in this book, which the book does come right out and say that, which I really appreciate because I find that some books don't include that little warning. So far it is what I've read from is a king, a demon king, has 8 girls that become like a concubine to him, and our one girl gets picked so far, and she's pretty feisty, doesn't want to be picked, and it's supposed to be like an honor to your family, but she doesn't see it as an honor. And she is now in the kingdom, and I believe, from what I heard, that she doesn't want to be there and she will challenge it. I don't know much more about it. I know that's a really weak review, but I feel like everyone already knows about this book, and I'm so late to the game. All right, next one was Beach Read. This was a 2020 release. I have read this book. I give it 4 stars. It is about our 2 characters who are both writers, and they stumble upon each other, and they're both experiencing a writer's block. So what they do is they make a deal where they swap the type of book that they're writing, and they have to write each other's type of genre they're usually comfortable in. So it is a cute book. It's obviously a romance, but there's definitely some powerful things that go on, and it is parts that are quite sad, which I wasn't expecting with reading a romance, but you do get that. So Beach Read by Emily Henry is a pretty good book. Next 2 books I'm going to link to kind of together, and this is Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and Take a Hint, Danny Brown. So these are both by Talia Hibbert. I have heard so many people raving about these books. I'm super excited to dive into them. This Take a Hint, Danny Brown just came out yesterday, which is really cool. And then this one has been out, I think, for maybe like a year. So I first heard about this series through this book. However, I didn't know, maybe you guys can let me know if I have to read this book before I read this book, or you could read them as a standalone. Please let me know in the comments below. But I'm super excited to read both of these. I know this one has to do with, I believe Danny is a bisexual witch, which is awesome. And I don't know much about this one. I honestly am going in pretty blind to both of these. The only thing I really know is that people absolutely love these books, and everyone's posting about it on Twitter. So I will be hopefully reading these next week. All right. Next ones that I hauled this month is Beartown by Frederick Backman, I think. Let's see, I hope I'm saying it right. This one is, I know, about a tight community, and it's really centered around hockey, which was why I was hesitant for buying this book for a really long time. But multiple people have told me that you can still love this book, and it's so powerful that the hockey thing is not a big deal if you're not a hockey fan. I know that there is a lot of triggers in this, so before reading it, I would make sure you find out what those triggers are. But other than that, I feel like I don't know too much about it, but I'm super excited. I absolutely love the cover of this book. So I did haul Beartown. All right, next series I hauled was the Selection series. So I read the Selection for a reread. I originally read this almost 2 years ago on a ebook, and I never actually bought the series, which I was really bummed because I absolutely love the Selection series. These are one of those books where, like, you have to, when you read one, you have to read all of them, I feel like. So I have read the Selection reread, and I have read the Elite. I read the Elite in like a 4-hour sitting. I will be reading the one probably next week. But having to reread them was a really good excuse for me to actually buy the series. So I'm really super glad I hauled these because I absolutely love these 3 books. All right, next one I bought was called Time Bomb by Joelle Charbonneau. I actually have not seen this book on BookTube or Twitter. I actually just stumbled upon it at Barnes & Noble. It is about 6 students. They're all in the same school, and there is a bomb that's set off in the school that's like to blow up soon, and they have to work together to defuse the bomb so they can all survive. And that's the type of trope that I like. I like the high school group of friends. They have to work together or they're all, gonna die. So I don't know much about this, but I'm excited. It was the cover that caught my eye, with it being all red just with the white contrast of letters. So we'll see. Other than that, I don't really know much about it. All right, next book is The Light Between the World. This was definitely an impulse buy. I don't know really anything about it. I thought the cover was super pretty. I love all the white flowers with the white deer head. I thought it was really cool. Other than that, I know nothing about it. So if you've read this book, let me know. Next book I read was The Grace Year. I have seen this on Bookstagram, and I want to say maybe Twitter. I've seen some people read about it. Other than that, I don't know too much about it. I just know it is about a group of girls that can lure men in, and when they go, I'm trying to read what it says here. When they're going their 16th year, they're banished to release the magic into the wild so they can return purified and ready for marriage. So it's a really weird concept. And it's really creepy because like this red ribbon and it turns into blood. I don't know, but I thought the cover really caught my eye, and like I said, I had seen it before, so I did snag a copy of The Grace Year. Next book I got was Girls in Pieces, which I have heard about this through Bookstagram and through BookTube, and it is about a girl named Charlotte who has lost a lot in her life, and it follows her story trying to put the pieces back together. So I believe this is a hard-hitting contemporary young adult novel. All right, next book I hauled was Lisa Gardner, right behind you. This was a deal at Barnes & Noble's. I have read one of Lisa Gardner's books before. I enjoyed it. It is a thriller style type book. Other than that, I don't really know much about it. I like going into my thrillers kind of as a mystery because I don't want anything to spoil me. Sometimes I feel like when you read the back of a cover for a book that's a thriller, it kind of spoils something. So I like to go in with an open mind, not knowing much. And so that's why I haven't really investigated anything more about Lisa Gardner's book. All right, next one I hauled was That's Not What Happened. This is a story about a school shooting, and it is talks about from different kids' perspectives, I believe, about what happened during that time. So I'm excited to read this book, and yeah. But again, other than that, I really don't know much about it. I found it at Target. It was like when they buy. Ooh, look how pretty this is. I just opened it up for the first time. Okay, sorry, sidetracked. I saw this at Target. It was like buy two, get one free, and I read the synopsis, and it sounded interesting. But other than that, I don't know too much about it, but I'm excited to kind of dive into and find out more. All right, next book I picked up was Aristotle and Dante Discovers the Secrets of the Universe. So I've heard a lot of people rave and hype about this book. I'm definitely coming on late with this one. I'm excited. I know it is representation in it, and it's won tons and tons of awards, and I'm super excited. I don't know too much about it, but I know that many people have said it's a great book, and for something to win 4 awards, it's got to be a great one. So I snagged this at Barnes & Noble the other day. All right, next one. I feel like I am coming so late to the game again, and I finally got a copy of Heartstopper. So I'm super, super excited about this. I know it's only volume 1, which I know is sad, but I'm excited to finally read this. I will be reading this for the readathon next month for that Becca's hosting her Monopoly Bookopoly game. This was what people chose for me on Twitter to read for her chance card. So I really want to read it now, but I've got to wait until that 48-hour readathon. So Heartstopper, everyone knows what Heartstopper is about, hopefully, so I don't feel like I need to go into that one. All right, the next one I grabbed, we're getting almost to the bottom, guys, is The Woman in the Window by A.G. Finn. This is one that's been on my TBR list for a really long time. I just never had the physical copy of it. When I bought the Target, the 2-for-1, this was one of those options, so I finally snagged it. It is a thriller. Again, I don't know too much about it because I like going to my thrillers kind of blinded. I don't want to know too much about it, but I'm excited to finally actually read it. All right, second to last one is The Familiars. This was a book that I strictly bought based off the cover. I thought the cover was really, really pretty, but that honestly, I know nothing else about it. So if you've read this book or have any insight, please let me know. Last book. And I got, this one is called The Undead Girl Gang, and this I got from a recommendation from Books with Lala. She loved this book, and I'm really, really excited to read this. So I know it's about a group of girls, murder, and a girl gang trying to figure things out. Sounds right up my alley. I'm really excited about this book, so we'll see. All right, so that is the remaining of books that I've hauled for this month. My goal is to not buy any more books this month, but if I do, I will include them in my July haul, which hopefully won't be as big as this one. I can just do one video. But if you have read any of these books, let me know your thoughts and opinions below. What was your favorite book that you have bought this month? I would love to hear it. I'm always adding new books to my wish list in my head of what I want to buy next. If you liked this video, I'd give you the thumbs up, please. I'd really appreciate it. If you have not subscribed already, that would be awesome in taking this journey with me as I am newer on the BookTube career. And that's about it. So stay kind, loves, and I'll see you later. Bye.